It's here. Spring is here. Even though I know technically it's March 20th when it starts. But here in South Carolina, we get Bradford pears that tell us spring is officially here. They just blow up. Check this out. These are the stinkiest trees on the planet, but beautiful. And they'll cause you some serious allergy problems too. However, it's spring. Anyway, my point is, okay, all of this is that it's been a long winter, and just like every winter, I have gained between 5 and 10 pounds.
Oh, not again.
Yep. Every year, same thing. Has to do with hibernation. I'm like a bear or something. And then I come out of my little cave and turns out that my clothes are a little bit tight. And yeah, even since Carnivore, over 3 years, every year after winter, I gain between 5 and 10 pounds. Now, if you do this, don't freak out. And I can give you some tips and tricks on how to do a reset. It works for me, at least. This is just in my own personal experience, but stick around and I will show you how to reset yourself so that you can drop those pounds quick and move back on with fun things, because spring is here. Let's talk about it right here on Black Box Morning. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time, got no filter, I got no filter, no filter, I got no filter, no filter, I got no filter, no filter, I got no filter. Okay, so if you are in this situation and you've been carnivore and the winter's over and you realize that your clothes are a little more snug than they used to be, nothing huge, just a little too tight or just don't fit like they used to, and you kind of recognize that you probably put on between 5 and 10 pounds-ish. If you are in that situation and you've been carnivore for a while, do not go near the scale. Now, why am I saying this? Because anybody who's been watching me knows that I used to tell people when they first start carnivore and they have a tremendous amount of weight to lose, to weigh themselves regularly. It keeps you honest, and it also gives you inspiration, because when you have a lot of weight to lose, like I did when I had 100 extra pounds, it's actually a good thing to keep weighing yourself a lot, because in the beginning you drop a tremendous amount of weight, typically, really fast. And it's just energizing to see that. But when you go down the road of carnivore and you start to lose weight and you get into this journey, you start to slow down weight loss via the scale. You don't see it as easily, and it can actually do the opposite. So it's all a psychological trigger. So I recommend that you don't go run out and weigh yourself, because seeing that value on the scale can sometimes really kick you in the guts, especially if you're like me and you spend all that time losing weight. And this has happened to me 3 times, or I don't know, however many times. It's been over 3 years. So I always, after the winter, gain a few pounds. Okay, nothing major, but stay away from the scale. Especially since when you're in carnivore, you're deep into the carnivore journey, the tape measure is actually much better at telling you things than the scale is anyway, because you start to build muscle, you gain muscle typically, and that throws everything off. So the scale just isn't as effective when you're deep into this journey. Now, if you have tons to lose, like I said, that's a different story, but don't go near the scale. Okay, a second caveat is that I'm not talking about going carnivore in the beginning, like for inflammation purposes or to address medical issues in this video. This video is specifically for winter weight gain, like a small amount of winter weight gain, okay? Not significant weight gain like what happened to me when I had 100 pounds to lose and starting that out. This is a different conversation. So just keep that in mind. And it's not a conversation that revolves around medical issues either. So why does this happen to us in the first place? Well, I mean, a lot of us are pretty strict carnivores and we don't really stray from that. However, there's a couple of things that get in the way. Number one, the holiday gauntlet, I like to call it. I mean, you've got a season that revolves entirely around food. So even if you stay carnivore, you probably are eating things you don't normally eat, things outside of your orbit that can cause weight gain, because also you're probably eating more of it than you should. You're probably eating when you're not hungry. And you start doing this at the holidays to make an exception. But the problem is that once you kind of let that genie out of the bottle, sometimes it can just, wreak havoc on your life. And you start doing these habits maybe more frequently after that, or you have to kind of get it back in check, and it takes a little bit of time. But by that time, you might have gained 5 or so pounds. So that is the first reason that a lot of this starts, and it bleeds into the rest of the winter. It doesn't just hang out at November and December and then go away after that. A lot of times these bad habits come back, and you start doing them and start consuming things that you wouldn't normally, or in larger amounts. So that's the first obvious reason. Number 2, you go into hibernation mode. I mean, if you're stuck in a really cold part of the world and you've got 3 foot of snow outside your window most of the time, you're not going to be outside doing as much as you would be during the spring and summer. I mean, this is obvious. In the springtime and the summertime, everybody's usually doing yard work, or they're outside doing all kinds of activities. But I mean, you're very limited a lot of times, depending on where you live. And again, this is dependent on where you live and what you're used to. But I mean, everything outside of my window's dead and gross looking, and it depresses me, and I don't want to go out there. I mean, all the trees are like dead and all the grass turns yellow. It can't get more depressing of a sight than wintertime in South Carolina. I know a lot of people like that. They like the fall leaves and stuff. No, I mean, I preferred Florida, honestly, when it comes to what you're looking at in the wintertime, because everything's green and, I don't know, cheerful and sunny all the time, but it just doesn't look very good in the wintertime. So, I mean, I'm indoors a lot more. I focus more on my writing and content creation and things like that. So I'm in front of a computer for a lot of the time, and that is really, really very conducive to weight gain. So that's part of my problem. Number 3, there's a matter of comfort. Comfort food is a huge thing during the winter. You got soups, you got things like that, lots more cheese than normal. I mean, at least that's what I find. I'm eating a lot more cheese in the wintertime. I don't really know why. I don't even eat that much cheese, but it's outside of my normal diet. So I think the cheese plays a lot into it, cream and stuff like that. Heavier things that I don't eat as much of during the spring and summer months, for whatever reason. I guess because it's heavier and, I don't know, it's hotter, and it just doesn't mix. And plus, all your shows are on. So, I mean, for me, that's one of my big things is like I mix a show with some really rich food, and I can overdo it. Let me tell you, there's nothing better than just combining those two things. But I'll end up eating for entertainment, which is the worst. But anyway, so what do we do about this? How do we emerge from this hibernation? I've got 3 different approaches you can take depending on what you feel like you need to do to kickstart, I don't know, your rejuvenation and get back to normal. All of these 3 things are carnivore, but it's going to depend on what works for you, your own personal preference. I've seen each one of these things work, and I have my own preference, which I will tell you about third. So, first of all, there is you eating mainly only protein, like lean protein, and not eating much fat, and of course no carbs. Nothing about what I'm going to say is carbs. It has nothing to do with carbs. But you eat mostly protein and you stay away from the fat. You'll drop pounds, but in my personal opinion, you'll feel like crap. I mean, at least I felt like crap when I did this. I only did it once, and it made me feel like total just garbage. Because the fat is what satiates you, and it's a hard thing to do. And they do, when you just eat protein mainly, like lean protein, that's called rabbit starvation. So it's not something that you want to do for long at all. And I am only talking about a matter of days, okay? Like 2 or 3 days to a week maybe, I don't know. But that is something that you can do. If that works for you, I mean, it might be something that you would like to do. But personally, I don't prefer it. But does it drop weight? Heck yeah. And it does it pretty quickly. The second option is to just do a fast, like a dry fast or a water fast. And I am not the queen of fasting like that. I don't really do that. I don't prefer it. I have done it. I mean, it's fine. Like I've done, I think I got to 4 or 5 days. I can't remember exactly, but it's been a very long time. And I don't typically, like I miss my food. Let's put it that way. Like I miss my steaks and I miss eating and that kind of thing. And the water fast and the dry fast, which I don't know if I've ever done a dry fast. If I have, it's been a long time. But the water fast in particular was the most common that I did. And it just was really hard for me. So I don't typically do those. But I probably will in the future at one point. But the third option, okay, is what I prefer, and that is a fat fast, which this drives Coach Steven crazy, I think, is that we call it a fat fast. It's not a fast, it's just a label given to it. It's where you actually eat primarily animal fats. And in my case, what I eat is very limited because I don't have a butcher and I can't get fat trimmings that I can crisp up. If I could, oh my God, I would be in hog heaven and I would do a fat fast for a lot longer than I should probably. But you basically just limit yourself to fat. Okay, you don't add protein in for this to work. And I've done this on numerous occasions. Every time I gain a few pounds, when I just kind of need a reset or I need to, kick myself in the butt kind of thing, this works really well for me. And it's very limited. It's only like, I don't know, a week, 5 days or something like that. And I always feel like $1,000,000. It kind of just, I don't know, it just jump starts me and gets me back to normal. And I'll lose like 10 pounds in a week or 9 pounds or whatever it was. I can't remember. I did a video where I kind of chronicled, a fat fast, but I like it. It's preferential, like how you want to actually kind of reset yourself. A lot of people do the fasting and that works great. And like I said, I've done that before. Don't care for the protein fast. I mean, this is all preference, right? But it is something different that you can do to kind of get you out of that hibernation mode, I think. It's an option. So what I do is I'm eating mainly egg yolks. It's limited what you eat. I do this drink where I take egg yolks and basically turn it into like an eggnog-like drink and some cream. I will use some cream on the fat fast. And butter, I have butter and coffee because I do drink coffee. And that is where coffee comes in really handy because I can put it into, I can put the butter into it. And it's like a vehicle for the butter, essentially. So I do the coffee with the fat fast, but I always have. I mean, every time I do it, I do the same thing. So this is something that works for me. And it's something that if you want to, you can try it. But all you're doing is you avoid protein. And you just primarily eat fat and you do it for, I don't know, however long you want to do it. And I have found great results with that. I'll lose whatever few pounds that I gained over the winter because I always never fails. I always gain weight during the winter. Just a little bit, but just enough to piss me off. Because, I spent a lot of time dropping those 100 pounds. I don't want to take a chance of going back. So I do this. It kind of kickstarts me for the spring and everything goes back to normal because I'm doing a lot during the spring and summer. I have to cut grass. I have to maintain the yard. I'm chainsawing stuff. There's a lot. I have to get the pool up, which I got the pool up the other day and running. So there's a lot of work outside for me to do. So I'm also very, very active. This is just something I do right before the dam bursts and everything blooms and all hell breaks loose. But anyway, this is just something I go through, and I thought, well, if I go through it, then somebody else would. And these are my tips and tricks on how to deal with it and how to get things back to normal. Because carnivore, after 3 years, I have no complaints. I am perfectly happy and perfectly happy with what I eat and how I feel. I feel like $1,000,000. But I do, because of the winter time and because of what happens during the winter and all these circumstances that I've described, I will gain 5 or 10 pounds. And I can tell, I don't even have to do the tape measure. I can tell because of how my clothes fit. When I put my clothes on, it's like, these don't fit like they used to. I can fit into them and, my clothes still fit fine. I can just feel it. It's not much weight, but I can feel it and I want it gone. And another thing I'll mention is that I have tried to get away from the wanting to be uber thin because, I mean, I look fine. I was in a bikini. I went on a vacation last year. I look perfectly healthy. I have it in my mind to be some kind of rail thin, like, waif looking creature because, I mean, I was raised in the 80s. So, I mean, it's just a remnant left over from that. And I have to like fight with myself on that and say, no, you don't need to, shrink yourself into oblivion. But it's just, I don't know, it's society or whatever. So, I know what's a healthy weight for me. And, that's kind of where I end up. Like when I eat like I'm supposed to, I stay at the weight that I'm supposed to. But wintertime is kind of rough. So, but anyway, I hope this helps you guys if you're going through the same thing. And don't kick yourself in the butt. Don't do that. That's counterproductive. It doesn't help anything. All it does is, I don't know, make you feel even worse. And for God's sakes, don't go to that scale. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you've gained any, if you have the same problem, and what is it about your wintertime that causes this? Or do you not have this problem at all? I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, if you could hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. And make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future content. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.